welcome to the stage, Siddhartha Bose.
Thanks, Tom. For my piece, I'm going to be I decided to do a little bit with Othello. And one thing to think about when you think about Shakespeare, of course, is that he almost rarely wrote about the place he was from. He always wrote about other places, which is something I kept in mind when I was trying to write this. And two specific themes that I've kind of looked at regarding Othello was, on one hand, I'm looking at the whole idea of race relations, obviously.
Louder!
Race relations, obviously, yeah, if you didn't hear that. And the other thing is that Othello's a very interesting character because he woos the people around him. He woos Desdemona and he woos the people at the Senate in Venice by telling them the story of his life, this very fantastical story which, deals with him being sold to slaves and seeing cannibals all over the place. And anyway, this whole idea of storytelling from a place somewhere else became very important for me while I was trying to think about Othello. So this piece starts off in Shoreditch, sets up the sort of surroundings. We get an introduction to Othello, the Desdemona-like character, and then we go to New York and we come back to Shoreditch. I was thinking about Mumbai, but that wouldn't work. Anyway, alright, so this is called Blood and Gore. A gravitational dead end. A mausoleum of flowers. The wick of Friday night. Shoreditch burns from a beer can crack. Floodwater remains of his stench. Chip shop fried chicken wings waft gambol. City boy transformers stalk the high street, slurping, glurping out of strip bars that constellate round kebab zero singularity. Energies intermingle. A scar band shifts gears, cheered by revelers in garish colors, primed for dubstepping in bowels. Down French Place, the Holy Crack Virgin gives head to a man called the Jamaican, who flips his girls on Commercial Street by the arched ruins of a train station. At other times, he yells stories mastering the art of ringleader beggar. Overarching through his pleasure through large windows and satin curtain, rich black fashionistas and hairdressers in pink shake to Chibel and Fella. A London jazz cat balances his double bass on the edge of his nose, sitting sidewalk, smoking in black and white, a hat-like bird. A drummer lines ridge on his face, empties his car. A mascara mama skims past like pigeon's feet. At Tesco cash point, a hollow shipwrecked Buddha, Doberman on leash, legs crossed, does not bother to politely ask money of strangers, but draws small change into the deep silence of him. His cheeks are crevices, skin ripped of bone. Through boundary passages, deals are made in weed and Charlie checkpoint. Bangla kids, Bhangra jumping. Lawyers customize as hustlable objects. Money changes hand, colorblind. Cops circle in vultures. The streets are alive with the sound of girders, siren shaking. Chromatic bass lines, jungle beats, digitized arias lift in the weight of stones, pounding beats through warehouses and empty parking lots. Bollywood slithers in from Brick Lane. Hipsters in tight and black and blue jeans, crotched in pain, blow bubbles into the night sky. Each one carrying a wish, carrying another, carrying another, carrying another. Spike Lee celebrities walk out entouraging in front of billboards, screaming, vodka. The drunks by the bus stops sneer, wink, nod, huddle in shafts of cold. There is black space in these alleyways, shaded mysteries, breath pauses where black cats roam like prehistoric beasts. This place, this arm of earth, this great open-air installation beneath. On Bateman's Row by the new-heeled condos and slick flats of bankers, under the dungeon of a curved brick laid, unused train bridge, a lily-white woman, Desdemona dressed in black, face like Joan Crawford, angles in moonlight, store-fronted in the arms of an older, bolder man, dog-colored, the dark brown of his skin shimmering like the snake of the Thames, which can be heard through the din of traffic storms. Their skins, yin and yang, merge to form a new beast for a new century. A new hope in the great East London melting pot magnet. Sipping whiskey, he saw her for a month in underground after-parties, her eyes green aglow, the tanks of her bodies rolling to the spin of Tokyo DJs. She watched him, watch her, watch the refracted eyes refracted, the heave of her sweat morphing to pure electricity in his scent breath. He spoke with grave pauses. She responded in tickles, laughter, silver lashes. Now framed in sepia glow, they walk in clouds, past graffiti which repeatedly exclaims "Ein" in German. They rummage through garbage bins. He finds her a tiara, she gleams the bits of a Marlboro. They skate in dance, tapping on the edges of Curtain Road. He puffs his cheeks, she ruffles through the sand in his hair. He lifts her to his terrace flat, scanning the London panorama, star-studded. He teases her with his beard. She falls in swoon, stabbing his chest with cigarette burns. They grow cacti, drops glisten on their harmony. She forms and reforms from the soot of his dreams. She hears him with patience and wonder, wearing the story of his life like a crown of poppies on her golden head. She asks questions. He tells her history. Desdemona says, you've got a lot of plants in your flat. Living room, bedroom, bathroom, all the rooms. We should fuck on plants the next time. Why the plants? They give out carbon dioxide at night. I have a friend who never keeps plants in his house. He's scared of sleeping in the same room with plants. Thinks he'll suffocate. It's not good for the system, he says. Why do you keep so many plants? Othello lights a bag, swallows it whole, pukes it, sits, starts to speak. You're a very healthy person. I was living in a small little flat in Lower Manhattan with this Arab guy from Lebanon. He had a broken leg and his left eye had been gouged out when he was a kid. He never told me the whole story. I got a job, it was a very cold winter first of all, and we had no money for heat. I got a job making gyros with these guys who'd whine about my body swell each time I fucking walk into work. Mahmoud worked in a warehouse. We tried making ends meet. I had a hard time finding a job that would make my parents proud, so I'd lie to them. So me and Mahmoud had been moving around from place to place for a while, and we finally found a cozy little spot in Avenue C. We had a cabbie from Arkansas living just below us, and a Japanese couple who fucked every chance they got. And they made a lot of noise. The cabbie didn't like it. He didn't like us either. We were the darkies on the block. So one day anyway, for our part, we tried making him laugh, you know. We were always up to some prank or other, you know. We'd order Chinese takeout and have him pay for it, you know, wake him up at odd hours, fill his letterbox with, you know, dead cockroaches. Then one day I guess he'd had enough and he went and complained to this landlord, who was this big Armenian guy, you know, this big Armenian guy who had a house filled with cats. He used to score smack now and then, and man, I sure dreams about them cats scratching me all over the place. Anyway, so one day the landlord comes up to me and he says that we have been given an official warning. An official warning, he says. When Mahmood gets back from work later that night, I tell him about this official warning, and he really fucking loses it now. He wants to make the cabbie suffer. He wants to make him laugh. So the cabbie's got a night shift, yeah? So we go down quietly to his flat, which is... anyway, we've got the Japs fucking, so we've got noise cover, right? Anyway, this used to be a pretty shit neighborhood about 20 years ago, you know, like a really shit, rat-infested neighborhood. And all the flats have real dodgy locks. So, Mahmood's the expert, I just follow his lead. He picks the half-ass lock and we're inside this flat, which is pretty fucking filthy, you know, it's like used rubbers all over the place and boxed wine and broken glass. Mahmood looks around and he says with this air of disapproval, you know, like he's royalty, like some sort of great medieval Moorish warrior. I be back, Abu. You stay here. So he disappears for about 10 minutes and I'm like standing here, you know, guarding the place, all serious and all. Anyway, he comes back after a while with this big can of white paint, you know, a big can of white paint and a couple of thick paint brushes, and he puts them down right in front of me. I look at him and I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do with this? But he turns around, looks me straight in the eye, and he says, we're going to paint everything here white. Everything. And so we get started. The floors, the wooden floors, the tables, the chairs, the walls, the ceilings, even the TV, everything is painted white. It takes us about an hour and then we head back upstairs, you know, like nervous with joy, like pretty little kids. Of course the fun doesn't last. A few hours later we get a call from Mr. Tough Guy. Alright, you sand niggers, the cops are coming. Sand niggers. By now I'm shitting bricks. Mahmood tries acting real cool, but I know he's fucked as well. In 10 minutes we hear the sirens, you know, very fucking New York. Mahmood's illegal, so if the cops catch him, he's out of the country, right? So what does he do? He opens up his window in our flat and he asks me to jump out. I look down and it's about a floor high and I can't think of anything better, so I do. Mahmood grabs as much as he can hold of, you know, like a bag with some of our clothes, some of our papers, some of my music, and he throws them down to me while I'm standing there waiting for this bag to fall gently into my arms. Then Mahmood jumps, despite the broken leg. It wasn't light as yet, it wasn't as pretty as in the movies. Mahmood was bleeding. I was freaked. Mother-of-all fucking ironies, man. It's a cabbie who got us out of there that morning. So anyway, for a couple of weeks we had no place to go. All we could do was go to work, get some cash, and then sleep in the parks or in the subway. Sometimes I couldn't even sleep. So what I do is that I go to Tompkins Square Park, buy some beer, do my shit, and then just walk the streets, you know, walk the streets wired out of my mind. Sometimes I go into this one bar where the bartender would suck on the breasts of every woman he'd serve, and sometimes I play poker with Vietnam vets, and sometimes when I'd win, they'd buy me a tequila shot. Things went on like this. Then one day I was just, you know, sitting in the 14th Street station, I think, you know, just looking at the rail tracks, you know, and smelling each and every train that passed me by. I'd finished work for the day, but I didn't feel like going anywhere, doing nothing, eating nothing. All of a sudden somebody says, "Hey, you looking for a place to stay, compañero, eh?" Hispanic guy, man. Middle-aged. I couldn't believe what I just heard. Maybe it was the look on my face, maybe he saw that, but I couldn't say anything. "Let's go," he says, and so we do. For a moment I think he wants me to fuck him or something, but I'm too relieved to be nervous. You know? Turns out he had a small little studio further out west that he needed to rent. So I saw the place, paid him some cash, got the keys, and ran to meet Mahmood at this dive we built in the East Village. He was so happy, he couldn't say anything either. Later that night, when we were both nicely toasted, like a lot of booze, a lot of weed, and like brothers, like fucking brothers, we stumbled along the streets shouting and singing at everyone who passed us. This was New York. So we ran, jumped again, the best we could, and I think it was at the corner of First and Houston, yes, First and Houston, where I came by this florist shop, that had a bunch of really strange looking plants, like bamboo plants that looked like intestines all curled up, and geranium and heather and money plants and tropical plants all the way from home, red, brown and yellow, smelling like the dark skin of the woman in my dreams, like her juices thick. Smells were strong. Smells were strong. So we stood still on the sidewalk, and we smelt, 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 and we fucking smelt. Maybe it was the weed, but the smells made me feel like a human being. Like a human being. For the first time. In a very long time. So yes, my lovely, lovely flower. Plants are good. He turns on a top, folds the cut of his beard into the gloop of his lips. He sharpens his head on the edge of a wooden bed, waves into his own eyes, foams himself, longing for a land far away. I'm old, he says, and I come from somewhere else. You will find someone else one day. Till then, give yourself to me. He washes his fear in a gulp of whiskey. She reaches out to him, sinks on his lap. Outside their window, the pigeons of Shoreditch watch them with knives in their mouths. The night bends on its own revolving door, on its own bloody axis. A black cab horse on Great Eastern Street, its horn the last bulge of action on this moon-bled, cigarette-stained morning. Thank you.
Simply amazing. Siddhartha Bose. Before I let you go to the bar for our break, I want to get